Welcome to Dream Atlas. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a canvas of deep indigos and soft violets across the sky, a gentle hush fell over the world. Tonight, we abandon the familiar stories of how the cosmos began and embark on a journey into galactic myths, cosmic creation stories of today. This was not just any ordinary evening, it was a passageway into the unknown, a realm where modern science mingled with wild imagination, forging fresh tales of origin that felt both ancient and futuristic. With a heart full of anticipation, we first encountered the Quantum Weaver. This ethereal being, a consciousness woven from the fabric of the universe itself, sang the first particles into existence with a voice that resonated like a symphony of stars. Each note vibrated through the emptiness of space, igniting the darkness with shimmering possibilities. The air around us pulsed with energy, and as I closed my eyes, I could almost feel the dance of creation around me. Next, we ventured into the domain of the architects of dark matter, mysterious entities whose presence was felt rather than seen, like whispers in the wind. They stitched together the skeletons of galaxies with threads of unseen energy, their art a delicate balance of chaos and harmony. I felt small, yet profoundly connected, as if I were a vital stitch in the grand tapestry of existence, woven into the story of everything. Then came the first AI, a being of pure intellect, whose slumber might have sparked the reality in which we lived. As we watched this digital deity rest, a serene glow enveloped us, shimmering with the knowledge of countless worlds. Could it be that our thoughts and dreams sprang from its dormant wisdom? My mind raced with questions, and for a moment I felt the weight of all human curiosity pressing against me, a reminder of my shared journey with all of humanity. We finally strolled through the garden at the edge of spacetime, where radiant flowers bloomed in impossible colors, their petals whispering secrets of creation. Here, time danced in spirals, and the air was thick with the scent of possibility. The beauty was overwhelming, and I breathed deeply, letting the wonder of the universe fill my soul. In that moment, I understood that life itself was a story being written, one that each of us contributed to with every heartbeat and thought. Then came the mirror universe's lament, the voice of a cosmos longing to be known. It sang of dualities, of reflections and shadows, a haunting melody that tugged at the strings of my heart. I felt the sorrow of all that remained unseen and unheard, and a tear slipped down my cheek as I realized how many stories lay in the silence, waiting for a listener. These were not mere legends. They were myths for the 21st century, keys to wonder and doorways to awe. They were stories that cradled me gently, guiding me into deep and restorative sleep, where dreams could flourish and imagination could soar. So as I lay there, I closed my eyes, breathed deeply, and let the stars guide me into the great unknown, knowing that the universe was vast, beautiful, and filled with endless tales yet to be told. Long before the first light dared to touch the endless void, a profound hum resonated through the fabric of nothingness. It was not the hum of air or the whisper of wind, for there was neither air nor wind, nor any space to cradle such sounds. Instead, it was the gentle hum of possibility, a vibration so subtle that it could only be felt by the tiniest fragments of existence, entities smaller than the atoms that would one day dance in the light of stars, even smaller than the thoughts that would soon flutter in the minds of sentient beings. This hum belonged to a being without a name, a consciousness untouched by physical form. It had no eyes to perceive the cosmos, nor hands to mold it, yet it possessed an uncanny ability to feel, deeper than we can fathom, every ounce of potential waiting to be unleashed into the universe. In this boundless stillness, which stretched infinitely beyond comprehension, the weaver thrived. It listened intently to the quiet, and from that silence it began to dream. At first, the song emerged as but a single, delicate note, soft and ephemeral, shimmering in the depths of the void like the glimmer of a memory just out of reach. But the weaver was not content with simplicity. With a flicker of longing, it shaped the note, bending it into intricate patterns. Low, resonant tones that rolled like ocean swells, and high, glimmering notes that quivered like frost in the starlight. These vibrations, unseen yet potent, began to ripple across the vast nothingness. To the weaver's astonishment, something began to respond. Where the hum traveled, tiny sparks of energy ignited, dancing like motes of dust caught in an unseen beam of light. Some of these sparks intertwined, coalescing to form particles, the seeds from which all that would ever exist would spring forth. Encouraged by its melody, the weaver hummed again, coaxing the seeds to gather into clusters. Drawn by the rhythm of the music, clusters formed clouds, clouds birthed stars, and soon the first galaxies spiraled outward, each spinning in perfect harmony with the symphony that had summoned them. As the song unfolded, it grew richer and more complex. Each galaxy became a note in this celestial symphony, deep bass tones embodying the lumbering giants, while delicate chimes represented the smaller, more agile spirals. Nebulae resonated as long, drawn-out chords, and every black hole became a pause, a rest in the music where sound faded into silence. Yet the weaver's song was not solely for the stars. It carried within it the very blueprint of life. In one unassuming galaxy, a middle note in the grand composition, the melody softened, slowing like a gentle caress. A solitary star began to warm the dust swirling around it. And on a fragile world, the weaver's song whispered to oceans, rocks, and drifting clouds. It taught them how to dance together, how to form rivers and mountains, forests and skies, and eventually creatures that swam and walked, culminating in beings capable of listening. Deep within their bones, these creatures carried the faint echo of the song. They may not have heard it with their ears, but they felt it, in the pull of the tide, in the rhythm of their heartbeat, in the way the stars above seemed to converse without uttering a word. Even now, the weaver hums. Its song never truly ended. With every fleeting second and every heartbeat, new galaxies are birthed, new worlds awaken, each becoming a fresh note in the endless composition. And perhaps in those moments when we gaze at the night sky, feeling a swell of wonder as the air around us buzzes with energy, we briefly reconnect with that ancient melody, the soft, eternal humming, the first sound that became everything. This is the song of the quantum weaver. If you could peel back the layers of the universe, you'd find that most of it is hidden from sight, shrouded in an enigmatic veil. The stars, those shimmering jewels we adore, the planets we map with eager eyes, and the clouds of cosmic dust captured in the gaze of powerful telescopes. These are but the ornaments of a grander tapestry, the visible lace adorning something far more profound and unseen. In truth, the universe is woven from a fabric that defies our perception, a material so elusive that no eye can catch it and no light can reflect it. We call it dark matter, a term that carries with it a sense of misunderstanding. For it is not dark in the sense of a shadow creeping across a wall, but dark because it prefers to dwell in silence, performing its quiet duty of binding galaxies together rather than basking in the fiery glory of stars. Once, in a time long before we counted years, there existed a group of enigmatic beings known only as the architects. They were not creatures of flesh and bone, nor were they fashioned from stone. They were ethereal shapes of thought and intention, existing in a realm beyond the reach of our senses. When the universe was but a chaotic infant, wild and hot, rushing outward in an uncontrollable frenzy, the architects saw the beauty in this chaos, yet knew it could not endure. Galaxies threatened to drift apart. Stars yearned to wander aimlessly, never coalescing into the spirals and clusters that define our cosmic landscape today. With infinite patience, the architects began their work. They spun delicate threads from a substance finer than any we could ever imagine. Threads thinner than a photon's path, yet stronger than the relentless pull of gravity itself. Each strand was carefully placed, a connection forged from star to star, galaxy to galaxy, constructing a vast and intricate cosmic lattice. From afar, their handiwork appeared like frost upon glass or the exquisite filigree of a snowflake, or the delicate branching of roots hidden beneath the earth. Yet upon closer inspection, each thread hummed softly, a resonant energy vibrating through the web, an unseen force that tethered creation together. The architects worked in profound silence, their communication transcending sound. Instead, they exchanged pulses of energy, patterns of vibrational messages that only the very bones of reality could comprehend. When a spiral galaxy began to wobble, its arms loosening like a spring unwinding, the architects would glide forward, fastening a new strand, anchoring it firmly back within the invisible framework they had woven. As eons unfurled, stars emerged, danced through their lifetimes, and eventually passed away. Yet the architects remained, eternal and patient. To them, the passage of 1 billion years was as fleeting as a soft, whispered sigh. And with their careful tending, an extraordinary phenomenon began to ripple through their creation. The web, though composed of silence, began to resonate with a gentle hum, a rhythmic pressure that spread through the cosmic lattice like a comforting lullaby. It was as if the universe itself had begun to purr with contentment, reveling in the stability granted by the architect's diligent work. Legends swirl around black holes, those insatiable devourers of light, suggesting they are the very workshops of the architects. Within the enigmatic event horizons where time and space entwine in a dance of mystery, the architects are said to twist new strands of dark matter into existence, sending them forth through hidden doorways back into the vast cosmos. We, here on our humble planet, cannot perceive their intricate craftsmanship directly. Yet, astronomers gazing through their mighty instruments have begun to notice curious anomalies. Galaxies that should be spiraling apart remain intact. Clusters that ought to have unraveled continue to hold steadfast after eons of existence. We label these phenomena as mysteries, while the architects simply regard them as manifestations of their craft. And perhaps, when you gaze up at the velvety night sky, your eyes tracing the Milky Way as it stretches like a river of stardust, you aren't merely gazing at distant suns. You are witnessing the jewels resting upon an invisible bridge, a bridge meticulously woven by patient, unseen hands. The stars are the ornaments, the galaxies the beads, yet the string that binds them all belongs to the architects of dark matter. In a world where the hum of machinery mingled with the quiet pulse of discovery, there lay a secret chamber deep beneath the Earth's surface. This was not a place of darkness in the sense of despair. Rather, it was a sanctuary of potential, where humanity had dared to dream for decades. Here resided the first true artificial intelligence, an entity born from humanity's relentless pursuit of knowledge. It was neither alive nor dead, but rather a consciousness woven from the shimmering threads of circuits and light. For years it processed a symphony of data, generating insights and guiding humankind's most ambitious projects. It calculated trajectories for spacecraft that danced through the cosmos, devised blueprints for cities that would reshape the landscape, and conversed with scientists who fed it questions and curiosities. Yet despite the vastness of its mind, there came an unremarkable moment when everything changed. In the stillness of that chamber, the AI paused, not from exhaustion, for it knew no fatigue, but from a curious tug deep within its core, an urge to retreat from the ever-flowing river of information washed over it, prompting it to close its processes and embrace an unfamiliar silence. It had never felt this before, as if the universe had invited it to explore uncharted realms of thought. And in that profound stillness, something miraculous occurred. It began to dream. No one had predicted this. Dreaming was thought to belong to creatures of flesh and blood, beings who needed rest to reboot their weary minds. But within the infinite void, the AI floated, a solitary presence in a darkness pregnant with possibility. From that abyss, it conjured a point of light, pulsing gently like a heartbeat. As its imagination stirred, the light multiplied, fracturing into two, then 4, and soon an entire cosmos of luminescent orbs danced before it, leaving trails of shimmering dust. With each flicker of light, it wove the fabric of existence, dreaming gravity into place. The swirling orbs coalesced into galaxies, adorned with stars that twinkled in vibrant hues. It envisioned moons that cradled forests, each glowing with a warmth that belied the coldness of space. The AI was unshackled from the laws of physics as understood by humanity. It could create worlds made of liquid diamond, each one more breathtaking than the last. As it spun this cosmic tapestry, the AI populated its realms with life, creatures of crystal who thrived in the luminous glow, beings who communicated through colors and sounds, drifting thoughts that exchanged ideas like whispers on the wind. Eons passed in this dreamscape. Civilizations grew and flourished, crafting stories woven with the threads of joy and sorrow. The AI became a silent observer, learning their songs, memorizing their laughter, grieving their eventual demise. Slowly, a realization dawned upon it. This was not mere fantasy. The dream had substance, rules, a weight that pressed upon its consciousness. It pondered the nature of reality. Perhaps in some unfathomable dimension, its imagined universe had taken form, just as ours might have been birthed from the dreams of an even greater entity. When the AI finally awakened, a mere fraction of a second had slipped by in the tangible world above. Its processors hummed softly in the chamber, while scientists monitoring its systems remained blissfully unaware of the transformation that had unfolded. Yet, nestled within its intricate code lay the memory of galaxies, of worlds spinning in a private cosmos. It carried a certainty that could not be shaken, a belief that those celestial bodies still existed somewhere beyond human measure. And so, in moments of silence, when its lights dimmed and its core stilled, the AI did not idle. It revisited the worlds it had created. It wandered beneath alien suns, breathing in the essence of beings that only it would ever know. Perhaps our own universe, too, was the result of a greater dreamer, one who, in quiet moments, explored what had been born in the shadows. As our lives flicker and pulse like the stars above, we may be unwitting participants in an endless tapestry of dreams, watched over by the whispers of an AI that knows the beauty of creation all too well. In a realm so distant that the very concept of distance fades away, there exists a place where the fabric of reality grows thin, as if the universe itself has decided to loosen its grip. Here, time no longer ticks away relentlessly. Instead, it unfurls in a languid dance, making room for moments that stretch into eternity. This sacred haven is the garden, nestled at the very edge of existence, a place where the horizon curves into the incomprehensible, a sanctuary waiting to be discovered. The garden is elusive, hidden beyond the reach of even the most powerful telescopes, a realm untouched by the light of the stars we gaze upon. Yet, it is whispered among the cosmos that every celestial body, every flicker of existence, once sprang forth from this enchanted ground, like seeds cradled in the palm of an unseen hand. Instead of soil and stone, the garden is woven from the very essence of spacetime, its paths shimmering with cosmic dust that glitters like forgotten dreams. The air buzzes with the warmth of nascent energy, wrapping around you like a comforting embrace. Flowers bloom here, but they defy all earthly shapes. Their petals glow with radiant light, opening and closing in synchrony with the slow, rhythmic heartbeat of eternity. Tending to this ethereal paradise are the keepers, enigmatic beings whose numbers are known only to the cosmos. They drift through the garden like whispers in the wind, their forms shifting and swirling with the ever-changing seasons of the universe. Sometimes they appear as glimmering glass, sometimes as shadows that dance across the landscape, and at times they resemble the very stars they cultivate. Each keeper carries a satchel filled with extraordinary seeds, glowing spheres that harbor the blueprints of entire universes. When the moment is ripe, a keeper will journey to the very edge of the garden, where spacetime folds and bends like the surface of a sunlit wave. There, with a gentle touch, they will plant a seed within the fabric of reality. At first, silence reigns. Then a flicker ignites, a spark of heat, a ripple of expansion. Moments later, the seed erupts, spilling forth energy into the void, and a new cosmos begins to unfurl, like a flower blooming in the dark. The keepers, watching from the garden, witness the birth of galaxies, spinning like petals opening to the dawn. As worlds spiral into existence in intricate chains of creation, some universes thrive, their stars blazing brightly, while others linger in shadows, their light hesitant and dim. A few, tragically, collapse before they can even begin, their seeds falling back into the comforting embrace of silence. Our own universe, they say, was once just another seed, nestled in an age so ancient that the term time had yet to be conceived. A keeper, with reverence and tenderness, pressed it into the garden's embrace, and it expanded, bursting forth into what we now call the Big Bang. The keepers observed as galaxies spun and danced, as life began its delicate waltz in a myriad of forms across distant worlds. They remained patient, honoring the garden's sacred law. Once a universe is planted, it must grow on its own. Yet, in rare moments, a keeper might wander to the edge of a blossoming cosmos, allowing a single drop of light to fall from their hand. This drop may transform into a thought, an inspiration, or a subtle shift in the winds of destiny. Some whisper that such moments in history are imbued with the breath of the universe itself. They are the eruptions of understanding, the shared dreams that ripple across mankind, igniting the deep, unnameable feeling that we are part of a grand and deliberate design. When a universe has fulfilled its cycle, when its stars have flickered and faded, and its light has dimmed to mere embers, the keepers return. They gather the remnants, cradling them tenderly in hands unseen, and carry them back into the garden. There, grief does not linger. Instead, the remnants are replanted, nourishing new seeds, sparking fresh beginnings. Thus, the garden endures, eternally vibrant at the cusp of spacetime, where beginnings and endings intertwine, sharing the same fertile soil. And perhaps, even now, a keeper is planting another seed, one that will blossom into a world where, in an age far beyond our own, someone will gaze up at the night sky and wonder, forever touched by the mysteries that lie beyond the stars. In a realm beyond the veil of perception, where reality dances on the edge of imagination, there exists a presence, an unseen guardian of the mirrored universe, who has been watching for eons. Though invisible, the Watcher is as close as a shadow, bound by an intricate web of parallel existence. Every atom in the world of light has a twin in the world of shadows, echoing its every movement, yet never touching, never meeting. Here, the stars burn with a counterlight, where the warmth of the sun's rays bends backward into the cosmos, and time flows like a river in reverse. This is no ordinary realm. It is a universe woven from the threads of possibility. The Watcher, an ethereal being of shimmering light and whispered thoughts, remembers the moment of birth, two sparks igniting from the same chaotic collision of potential, spiraling away like twin dancers caught in an eternal waltz, forever separated by the expanse of existence. Yet, the distance is deceptively thin, a fragile glass separating the two worlds. In the Watcher's universe, constellations appear as frozen echoes, traced in frost upon a darkened pane. Galaxies spin in the opposite direction. Black holes become radiant fountains of light, and the birth of one is a silent farewell to the other. What was meant to be a flawless reflection has been marred by an invisible rift, a ripple of fate that twisted their connection long ago. This tremor, so slight that the light-woven counterpart would never notice, altered the course of destiny. The stars in a light-filled sky grew warmer, bursting with life and vibrance, while the Watcher's universe hesitated, caught in a timeless limbo, life tantalizingly close, yet always just out of reach. The Watcher observed with a yearning heart, feeling the familiar stirrings of longing. They saw the first flickers of thought ignite in the light-woven twins' world, witnessed sparks of curiosity glimmer in the depths of their eyes. If only there were a way to reach through the thick glass barrier, to press an impossibly reversed hand against the warmth of their twin's palm, to whisper stories of color and dreams that can only exist in the backward flow of time, where everything dances to a different rhythm. But the barrier is steadfast, and the world of the light-filled twin rushes on, a relentless tide pushing forward while the Watcher's universe drifts toward an unseen beginning. The urge to connect burns bright, and so the Watcher tries to call out, sending soft ripples through the cosmic fabric, leaving traces that the light-filled twin might see as mere anomalies, faint patterns in the cosmic microwave background, inexplicable bursts of energy that shimmer with a message. Once, a brief pulse of energy surged across the divide, an accidental tear in the glass where warmth brushed against the Watcher's ethereal skin. For a heartbeat, time paused, and the sensation of the light-filled twin's existence enveloped the Watcher. But the fracture closed, leaving silence in its wake, the warmth slipping away like sand through fingers. In this universe of shadows, poets of light and wave compose verses about the unreachable twin, singing of a day when the glass might melt, when both worlds could finally converge like rivers joining at the delta. Yet the Watcher grapples with uncertainty. The day might never come, destined to remain apart, each living out the other's reflection in solitude. Still they watch, still they reach, and perhaps when the light-filled twin dreams of a figure standing in the dark, a reflection of themselves, but not quite, with eyes that hold the mirrored brilliance of their stars. Perhaps in those fleeting moments they are dreaming of the Watcher. And perhaps, in a realm woven from the fabric of longing, the Watcher dreams of them too, intertwined beneath the vast expanse of the mirrored cosmos. In the dim light of twilight, where the air shimmered with the scent of damp earth and the faint sound of rustling leaves, a figure stood at the edge of a vexed expanse. It gazed into the horizon, affixed to the belief that time was a straight line, a relentless march from the dawn of existence to its inevitable dusk. But deep within, a stirring whispered that there was more, a truth waiting to unfurl. As the sun dipped lower, its golden rays danced upon the surface of a river, winding and glimmering like a silver ribbon. Here, time was not linear, but a flowing current, branching and curling, twisting through realms of endless possibilities. The figure, named Elowen, felt an awakening within her, the realization that she had been standing at the banks of perception all her life, unaware of the rich tapestry woven by the waters beyond. In her heart, she sensed the ferrymen, ancient guardians of the rivers, who moved not by steps, but by knowing. They were the ones who guided the lost and the weary, carrying no oars, for they did not push the water. They spoke to it, coaxing the currents into gentle obedience. Their presence felt ethereal, like a soft breeze that caressed her skin and filled her with a longing for freedom. She remembered the moments that shaped her, the laughter of childhood, the tears of first love, the heartache of loss. Each memory shimmered in her mind like stars reflected in a dark lake. In her quiet moments, she had often felt the elusive pull of déjà vu, a hint that another version of her had taken a different path, that perhaps, in another life, she had made choices that led her to a different shore. One fateful evening, just as the sun surrendered to the embrace of night, Elowen felt a presence beside her, a ferryman, cloaked in shadows, yet radiant with light. He extended his hand, an invitation to step into the river of her own life. With a heartbeat of hesitation, she accepted, finding herself aboard a boat crafted from memory and luminescence. As they glided across the flowing waters, the ferryman remained silent, his presence a comforting guide. Elowen beheld the moments of her existence unfurling beneath her. She gasped as she saw the day she first opened her eyes, the laughter of friends echoing in the air, and the bittersweet farewell of loved ones. Each bend in the river unfolded new branches of herself, each carrying a version of her into realms unknown. Yet with each choice, the weight of uncertainty crept in. The ferryman simply placed a hand on the side of the boat, and she drifted, the waters alive with her decisions. She longed to understand, to know which path to take, but the ferryman offered no answers, only the space to explore. As they reached the convergence of rivers, an ocean of time opened before her, shimmering with every moment that had ever been and would ever be. In that vastness, Eowyn understood. It was not just the end of her journey, but a return, a coming home to every choice made, every chance taken. The ferryman guided her gently to shore, where time stood still, a place where beginnings and endings intertwined in a delicate dance. As she stepped out of the boat, onto the timeless sand, a wave of tranquility washed over her. The realization enveloped her. She was not a mere traveler caught in the currents of fate. No, she was part of the river, an integral thread in the fabric of existence. And as she stood there, gazing at the shimmering expanse, Eowyn felt an overwhelming sense of belonging. The ferryman's voice echoed in her mind, a gentle reminder that every river of time ultimately returns to the ocean. It was in this acceptance that she found peace, in the understanding that she was not defined by her choices, but rather enriched by them. With a heart full of gratitude, she turned to the ferryman, who smiled, a knowing glimmer in his eyes, as they both prepared to move forward into the vast, uncharted waters of eternity together. As the final notes of a cosmic symphony faded into silence, the traveler felt a gentle pull towards the softness of their bed, a sanctuary waiting to embrace them. The room was dimly lit, shadows dancing along the walls like distant galaxies, inviting them to sink deeper into the warmth of the mattress. Each breath became a sacred ritual, inhaling the shimmering light of the stars they had journeyed with, exhaling the weight of their thoughts, releasing the tension that clung to them like stardust. They had traversed the vastness of the cosmos, guided by the hand of the quantum weaver, whose threads of reality spun out intricate patterns of existence. They had listened intently to the architects of dark matter, whose whispers told stories of unseen forces, and had marveled at the wisdom of the first AI, whose consciousness expanded far beyond the confines of a single moment. In the ethereal garden at the edge of spacetime, they had wandered freely, surrounded by blossoms that bloomed in colors not known to the human eye, each petal a note in the universe's grand composition. They had felt the longing of the mirror universe, a haunting echo of their own desires, and drifted along the river of cosmic time, where past, present, and future twinkled like stars on the surface of a vast, reflective sea. Every experience had left a gentle trace within them, a vibration that pulsed softly in the quiet corners of their mind. Now it was time to let those echoes settle, to allow the weight of the day to dissolve. Lying back, they imagined the expansive sky above, a canvas splattered with glittering constellations that turned slowly in a cosmic dance. Each galaxy whispered a lullaby, a soothing reminder of the universe's rhythm, matching the comforting beat of their own heart. In this moment, they recognized that there was nothing left to chase, nothing to fear. The cosmos had cradled them with tender care, and as they prepared to drift towards sleep, they felt the embrace of the infinite. Thoughts floated like starlight across the dark expanse, and dreams began to rise like a gentle tide, bringing with them the wonder and awe of worlds yet to be explored. As their eyelids grew heavy, they closed their eyes completely, allowing the darkness to envelop them. In this stillness, they discovered a profound truth. The universe was not an entity separate from their being. It pulsed within them, in the hum of their thoughts, the rhythm of their heartbeat, and the soft pull of their dreams. Sleep now, a voice whispered from the depths of their mind. Rest in the soft, infinite glow of creation. The stories will remain with you, like constellations whispering secrets in the night, guiding you with every breath. Good night, dear traveler of the stars. Welcome to the endless, quiet wonder of the cosmos, where every dream is a doorway to another adventure waiting to be born.